And it's another edition of Street Stories Unpaved. I'm Mike Montecalvo. Thank you very much for watching. We're probably into 2 months now of Street Stories Unpaved. We've been getting a lot of good feedback, too, so we thank everyone who has been watching. My sidekick here is Chief Videographer Johnny Villela, and this has been...
Mike.
Hi, Johnny. This is something that... I think we mentioned this on the first episode. Johnny's always wanted to do a podcast, and it would be, yeah, we'll get to it. Finally, we got to this. It's a different way of telling stories. We're rehashing some stories. We're bringing new material, and it's fun.
I like bringing the people that we did the story on into the studio, because I like to see exactly what they thought about the story, the process, how the filming went with them. I just like to hear their behind the scenes stuff. So it's always good to get their advice on it.
And as we mentioned last week, I'm going to mention it again. If you have any ideas, we can't promise, but if you have any ideas for a street story or a story in general, please reach out to us. You can email us or message us on social media. We're both wearing glasses because we're both extremely tired. We're getting older, too, in our eyesight.
It's been a long week, and I'm blind. Channel 12 has blinded me throughout the years. I look like, and I was mentioning this off camera, Jillian is here, and our guest is here, Sarah. I look like Sally Jesse Raphael.
And I'm probably the only one who knows who that is, right?
Talk show host from the 80s, you said?
No, so Johnny goes, was she a talk show host from the 90s? I said, no, it's more like the 80s.
New glasses, but I'm going to go with them. A lot of glare in here, but we're blind, Mike.
Yeah, usually when you're coming off the summer, I know we're back to school, it does pick up, but it's been a busy news cycle. I'm kidding around. We're tired for a reason. It's just been crazy. Yeah. Obviously, the... big news about Hasbro leaving Pawtucket, heading to Boston and the Seaport area. It's kind of a theme of our Street Stories Unpaved today. We'll talk about that. Also, back to school, and everybody's going back to school. But first, we got to recap our favorite doctor. Dr. D'Alessandro. 2 weeks ago, we're actually taping this on the 10th. Here's Dr. D'Alessandro. This is the Johnston Senior Center, and he got to the key to the town, Mayor Policina. This is only the second time, by the way, he has given out a key to the town. Yep. Wow. It just so happens that Dr. D'Alessandro was his doctor.
Yes.
So he saw our street story. His dad, a retired mayor, saw our street stories, and he reached out to me, said he wanted to do something. He wanted to give him the key, and I went on Tuesday morning on the 9th as he got in. Those are his family and friends.
He looks annoyed. He looks annoyed. He looks annoyed. I love it.
He told a funny story. The mayor said, he was my doctor.
Yeah.
And then without missing a beat, Dr. D'Alessandro said, I had to just chase you around the room to give you your shots that you didn't want to take.
I wish I was there, but Helena Folks' presser got in the way. So.
And that's the third big story that took place this week, as she announced that she's running for governor in 2026 against Dan McKee. Obviously, we're going to cover that on WPRI 12 and Fox Providence. So we had planned on doing a fun story with Hasbro, not knowing that
we're geniuses.
We are.
We're basically geniuses. Hasbro's moving to Boston, and our guest this week has a little something to do with that.
We're going to bring in Sarah Bawden. Sarah, how long have you worked here?
I've worked here for 8 years.
8 years.
On the 5th of September.
So Sarah is probably one of our biggest Street Stories supporters.
Hands down.
So you got a little background on Sarah and know what we do. I mean, you see me on TV, you see Johnny behind the scenes also on TV, but you have no idea who really helps us out big time. It's not just writing the web stories too, but also supporting us and sharing us on social media and giving us story ideas too. So know that we appreciate you a lot.
No bigger supporter than Sarah. I think of Dante Bellini. I think of Bob Patrone.
Yep.
I think of Doreen Holmes. I think of Josh Perry. But if you want to know the biggest supporter of Street Stories, it's Sarah throughout the years. And for the reasons you said, like giving us story ideas or writing the web article and being truly invested in our stories each week as if she's part of it, which she is.
And we're going to make her cry right now.
Yeah.
So,
I'm good.
So I'm on a streak.
You're on a streak. You're going to watch out for Montecalvo. He will make you cry.
We made Giovanni cry.
TJ's still mad at us for making him cry.
True. So you had this unique thing, for people like me growing up, Mr. Potato Head was something that you had to have.
Yeah.
It was a toy that you had to have. It really became popular back in the 1960s when it started. And then it kind of died out a little bit, and then all of a sudden it picked up again with the Toy Stories. How did you fall in love with it?
So I wish I could tell you that my whole search came as an epiphany. It really didn't. We're usually told to come up with story ideas or think of things that we want to do within the digital department. And I randomly one night was just laying in bed, and I was like, I wonder how many Miss Potato Head statues there still are in this state. Because I knew about the campaign as a kid, and I'd seen them around. But I was like, I wonder how many there are. So I Googled it, and there were a couple of different, lists that people have written over the years, and they all had like 5, 6. I'm like, I can count 5 on my hand, like, that I know where they are, like, other than the ones that were listed. So I said, you know what, I'm going to make my own comprehensive list, and I'm going to take ownership of it, and I'm going to do the research, and that's how it started. And I mean, Miss Potato Head's great, so I love it. I think it's a fun toy, and I obviously had one as a kid as well, so.
So those are the big Mr. Potato Heads
You
that
can't
people
miss
have said. Yeah, you can't miss them. So this is what
But
you track.
they always pop up in weird spots, and we'll get to that in a second. But like, I'll be driving down a random street and be like, "What? There is one right there." I mean, obviously we were at Hasbro the other day. I was thinking of you, Mrs. Potato Head with the pocketbook, and Mr. Potato Head on the other side, and they're random ones. You know? What's the one? Name a random spot that you found one in. I mean, what's the one that you're like, "Oh, I didn't know this was here," or?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
But I think the one that I didn't know was there was the one at the brewery in Warwick, and
Oh, in Apponog?
Apponog Brewery, yeah. So it's called the Bishop Potato, and it used to be at a church during the tourism campaign, but they painted it blue and green. So now it's like this blue and green, like worldly pope, and he is on the patio out back when you walk in, like you don't, it's a normal brewery, and then you walk out on the patio, and then you're just met with this Mr. Potato Head, and you're like, oh goodness.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I thought that was really funny. That was the second one I visited because I was trying to confirm that it actually existed before going there, and they didn't have any pictures of it on their social media pages. So I was like, I'm just gonna wing it. We're gonna go for a drink, and if it's there, it's there. If not, then we at least got a drink out of it.
Is there a list of where they are?
So there is a very old archive list online that somebody came up with during the original tourism campaign. However, not all of them stayed there. A lot of them were either, they either stayed where they were sold, they were donated elsewhere, or like they just changed hands and now they've ended up in all sorts of places.
The Rhode Island Economic Development Corporation came up with a tourism
Yes.
theme that they
Really?
wanted to do. They knew that, okay, we're going to bring people to the beach here, but they also trying to tie Hasbro, which was obviously a big company, still is, a big company in Rhode Island. By the way, that Bishop Potato has got nothing to do with the Catholic Church. It's the Episcopal Church that
Really?
so
Yeah.
they slid right into.
Shocking you knew that
I
background info on it. I can't
You know,
believe it.
I didn't even
I'm
know
a
that.
fountain of misinformation sometimes.
On your little notes over there, didn't one get stolen years ago, or one was missing? Or maybe
Yes.
I'm.
So that's happened a few times that one went missing.
Yeah,
Right?
so a lot of that happened during the campaign. I actually met Melissa Devine. She worked for the state at the time during the campaign, and we went for lunch, and she told me all about the campaign, like everything she did during it. Actually, one is named after her, the one outside Clements in Portsmouth.
Yep.
I think it's the Divine, I don't remember the name of it, but it's named after her. They were just coming up with crazy names the entire time, and she told me that she made this so-called MASH unit, like mashed potato, and it was kind of her just investigating where the vandalism was and what was going on. Like, I guess the Prince Charming, the Mr. Potato Head that was outside the Projo got stolen. It ended up being found on the middle of the Brown Quad. And Eric the Head in Newport, they found his arm floating in the water. Like, people just kind of you either loved him or I guess you hated him. So there was no in between.
You gotta wonder if some fraternities or some scavenger hunts in colleges were,
I'm sure.
doing some of this stuff.
Exactly. Go steal a Mr. Potato. Right?
Yeah.
That's not a good idea.
That's 10 points.
Not a good idea.
Definitely not. I think she called the police, and I remember her telling me that she was at Projo and she was standing there trying to explain to the police officer, like, and he's like, what do I write? Missing potato? And she's like, I guess. Like, that's the only thing I can think
All
of.
this other crime, and that's what we're going after.
Yeah, it's like stolen potato.
Isn't there one in Warren next to the purple Dunkin' Donuts over there? What is that?
At the top of
Jillian Carter, everybody. Pull to the wide shot, Jillian. Let everybody see. It's our producer, Jillian.
Though it is Warren. It's the main street over there, but it's Regular Joe. That's the Dunkin' Donuts one.
Okay.
He's got a little graffiti on him, and he's a little beat up, but he's still there.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about how Mr. Potato Head has changed over the years. We'll do that when we come back on Street Stories Unpaved. And welcome back to Street Stories Unpaved. I'm Mike Montecalvo, along with Chief Videographer Johnny Villella, with the news that Hasbro is leaving the state of Rhode Island and moving to Boston. We thought it would be good to talk about an iconic toy that Hasbro came up with years ago. Actually, Johnny, Hasbro did not come up. It was a guy by the name of George Lerner. He first created Mr. Potato Head back in 1949, and it's kind of changed. Sarah Bawden is here. She works with us. She's in the. What's your exact title? I know you do everything in here.
I'm a digital content producer.
Okay, so Sarah has had a love for Mr. Potato Head.
I think it's great.
Yep.
I was in Five Below the other day.
You got one?
What? You got me a gift?
Five Below, if you don't know, is probably one of my favorite stores.
It's a pretty good store.
Pretty good store, right? And then we were doing a story on Mr. Potato Head, and all of a sudden, Mr. Potato Head pops up.
Oh, the eyes! Look at the eyes!
So this is for you, my friend.
Oh, that's going right on my desk.
There you
Thank
go.
you
You know
so
if you had one
much.
or
She's
not.
he's beautiful.
You know, you've been writing about this for a while. How many hits have you gotten, and how many people are following you on this story that you've been doing?
I probably have a couple hundred followers on my Instagram, and then I haven't really like specifically done anything like other than my own social media. And then I did my story, or like my whole list that came out on my birthday last year. I've only been doing this about like a year and a half, so.
I think it's unique.
Yeah.
I think it's a unique thing. Has anybody, have other people followed Mr. Potato Heads and stuff throughout the years?
Yeah.
Okay. But I think it's a great Instagram thing. I think it's a great social media talker each week to find these. It was great stuff.
Yeah, so I actually met a couple people who are also doing this similarly, and they post their own pictures. Like there's this woman, Sandra, I met. She goes around with her boyfriend, and she takes pictures with them. And then there's another woman, Deanna. She also takes pictures, but with her son. Okay. And I've messaged back and forth with them several times. Like Deanna especially has given me a lot of like tips and ideas on like where to look and like ones that she's trying to get to or ones that she can't find. And we've been going back and forth about all different ones. So
you didn't know these people before
nope.
all this?
Wow.
Nope. I met them on social media. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've met some interesting people along the way.
What's a weekend like? You grabbing the husband and saying, "Hey, we're going to wherever Westerly." Is there one in
He wants to
Westerly?
go out to eat, and they're looking for Mr. Potato Head.
So it's definitely slowed down because obviously I'm kind of at the tail end of trying to find the ones that are like more harder to locate. But in the beginning, it was like, okay, like we're going to Portsmouth, we're going to Clements, we're going to get pictures of those real quick. And then while we're down there, we should go to the Dunkin' Donuts in Warren because like they have one. And then it would be like, okay, like we'll go, we have to pass by the Walloon Elementary School. We'll go get that one. And then like it's just nonsense, like he just does it. He does it with me.
He's a good dude. He's a good guy.
The wildest story you have in any of your searches or people you've met?
Yeah. So I think the funniest story that I like to tell is in Narragansett, after I published my list, a guy reached out to me from Narragansett. He worked for the town, and he was like, oh my gosh, like I was just told by one of my coworkers that there's like one of them is in storage, like the town has it and it's hidden in storage.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, like that's great. Can you help me? Can you show me? Like, or like, can you try to like coordinate with me, like so we can work on something? And like I didn't hear from him for a few days, and then like a few days later he's like, my coworkers played a prank on me. Like there's no other Mr. Potato Head in storage.
That's because Tim White called him first. Got
Yeah.
the Real Target 12 scoop on.
Yeah, and it was before I even reached out to the town too. So it was funny where I was like, okay, well, good thing I didn't reach out to the town because they don't have one.
For people, they're hearing this and say, I'm not sure what they're talking about. Let's show you some pictures of some of the various ones. This is the original Mr. Potato Head. I think people recognize this one. This is outside of Hasbro in Nantucket.
That's leaving soon, right?
Yeah, you can.
I don't know though. We don't know. They might stay. Who knows?
So, but that's one of the original ones that they made. But I thought this one was kind of red hot potato.
That's the first one I visited. It's actually you can see it off the highway. It's outside the Daylight building. I actually now with where we moved in Warwick, every time I come to work I drive by it. So the cool thing about him is that because it's a light manufacturer, it lights up at night. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
like
That's kinda
it's
cool.
several different colors, and like sometimes I'm driving on the highway, as you guys know, but the audience doesn't. I work nights, so when I'm coming home, it's dark, and sometimes I'll be on the highway and I'll just do like a, just because it's so bright, and I'm like, oh, good to see.
Do you have a picture of him at night or no?
No, I don't.
All right.
I haven't
That's
been
your
able
goal. That's
to
on your
yet.
list.
Yeah.
I've heard of the independent man. How about the independent potato right there?
I like this one a lot.
That
I
one-
like this one a lot.
That one was a tricky one to find because it wasn't.
DPW? What is that?
So it's Green Solutions in Johnston. It's near. It's not near the landfill, but it's off Plainfield Pike. Some guy on Facebook commented about. He's like, "Oh, I think this place off Plainfield Pike has one," and I was like, "Okay, like." I reached out to him, like, where? And he's like, I think it's called Green Solutions. I don't know, but the owner has it, like, in his, like, storage or whatever.
Well, take a look at that right there. It's the attention to detail and how long
amazing.
it's.
Yeah.
Are you amazed when you go around and see some of these things that?
Yeah.
All right, some of them are plain. It's easy to put together, but that one looks like it would have taken a while.
They were all made by local artists. So it wasn't just, like, them slapping pieces on. They were actually, like, crafted by local artists, which I've also been in contact with a couple of the artists over my search as well. So they spent a lot of time on them.
You didn't. How about the thrifty tater? You didn't come up with these names,
There
right?
it is.
No, I didn't.
There it is. Where is that? Someone's house? What
Yeah,
is that?
so that one is actually in Maine. That's the farthest I've traveled to
Really?
see a Mr. Potato Head.
Great shot.
Yeah, so my husband and I, this was before we got married. We got married last September, but we had our joint bachelor party in Maine, and I had been in contact with another guy on Facebook, an older gentleman, and he said he had one in his front yard and that it used to, he ended up getting it, or he acquired it over time, and his wife used to love Mr. Potato Head, and she did the search. I think they're originally from Rhode Island, if I remember correctly. And then when she passed away, like, he just kept it in the front yard. He painted it to look like the regular Mr. Potato Head. It used to be outside of a car rental place in Warwick. But he said, yeah, there's no amount of money that could make me sell this. So, but anyway, on the way back from our joint bachelor weekend, I told Tyler, I said, hey, so we're going to go an hour out of our way, and we're going to go see this Mr. Potato Head at this stranger's house. And he might be there, he might not. We'll see. He actually, the owner of the house was not there. He was actually bummed he missed us.
Awesome.
But he's just an older gentleman who lives by himself, and he just has it, and he says it's used as like a landmark.
All right, before we go to break, I'll just show you one more. This, actually 1966, right?
What is
yeah.
this? Sunbaked?
Yeah, so Sunbaked
This
is
is
one
what happens,
of
Johnny, when you don't put 30 or 50 on
It's going to be us with the glasses and the bad skin.
yeah. So this one I actually haven't been able to find. This is a picture I got from the artist Cindy. I actually went to the airport. It was originally outside Westerly Airport. And I was like, okay, I'll go look. And I went down there, and I looked, and it was not on the tarmac where, like, everyone said it was. So I asked one of the employees, and I was like, hey, like, where'd it go? And he said somebody took it, like, about 3 or 4 months ago to refurbish it, because if you look at it, it's made of, like, all mosaic tiles. And a lot of the tiles were popping off, and it just needed to be, like, touched up. So I didn't know if it was coming back, and we still don't know if it's coming back. But I did receive an anonymous tip from somebody after my list posted, because in my list it says, if you know where Sunbaked is, let me know. And somebody anonymously told me that a local man has Sunbaked and 3 or 4 others, and he's refurbishing them, but the anonymous tip would not tell me who, where.
Yeah.
Sounds like a street story.
Yeah,
Sarah
maybe.
and Mike,
So we're gonna
future
search.
street stories.
So when they reach out to you, you're going to have to tell us about that.
Yeah,
So-
I will, yeah,
sorry.
hopefully.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up and how maybe you can get involved in the search for Mr. Potato Head yourself. We'll be back after this. And we have a few minutes left on Street Stories Unpaved. Sarah, we were talking earlier where some of these Mr. Potato Heads are. Say that 10 times
I
fast.
You're the anchor.
The
You're the
surfer
anchor.
one.
Yes.
That's kind of a neat one.
Yeah, so that one is at the Quidnessa Elementary School right now. It's been there since the campaign ended, but the school gifted it to the town, and the town recently discussed it at a town council meeting on like whether they were going to accept the donation. There's a lot of back and forth. Surprisingly, they were really worried about liability and like kids swinging on the arms and what happens with the weather. And like how much.
Do you have a picture of that one, Jillian? I don't know if we have a picture of that. We don't have a picture of that one. Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
But they were really concerned about how much it would cost to maintain.
Yeah.
In the end, they did accept the gift, but they originally wanted to put it at the town beach, and I don't know if that's where it's going to go. That's where they're going to try to place it, but they did say once something happens to it, like they're probably not going to fix it. So,
Will you be going by Hasbro and Pawtucket for the Spuds leave before then? I got tossed off the property, but that's another story.
It's not the first time you've been thrown out of
That's-
someplace. Don't
That's for
worry
a
about it.
different day.
I'll try.
Yeah.
I can't say that I will, but I will try.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Mr. Potato Heads stay there, though. I mean, I don't know if
Do you
they're.
think they're gonna stay there? For what reason? What do you think?
I don't know. I would think that most of the Mr. Potato Head statues originally from the campaign are not owned by Hasbro. They're
Yeah.
owned by the state.
Okay.
So I do not know if the ones outside Hasbro are owned by the state or if they're owned by Hasbro. They're probably owned by Hasbro, so they probably will go.
And one of the things we talked to Mayor Grevian, he's talking about, you know, what they can do for the building, repurposing the building. So whether they put housing there or whatever they're going to do, or a business, that could actually stay there because it's an iconic
Landmark.
It's an iconic landmark
Yeah.
when you think about it. You see it all the time when somebody's going and doing some, you know, physical changes to a building. They'll keep something there
Yeah.
because people know where it is.
I'm gonna pitch it to Target 12 because it seems it's right up their alley to do a little Eli Sherman graph and chart of the landmarks. So yeah,
You know, they made a pizza for
they
Mike,
did
but
make
I
a
don't-
pizza.
I-
Man. He's got enough airtime on this show. We need to get somebody else in there.
Oh, man.
All right, we only have a couple of minutes left. You know, where do you want to go from here?
I'm still looking for a few. I mean, I still really want to find Sunbaked at some point, and then I also have been trying to track down one in New Jersey that it was donated to this children's garden, but now the garden's defunct, so like it's not open, but like it's an abandoned property. So like I don't know if the one that I'm talking about is the Edgar Allan potato. So
That
yeah.
hands down the greatest name ever.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's in there, but my husband refuses to drive to Camden, New Jersey, so.
Get
Well,
the
there is
car.
one.
Get the car. Let's go.
There's one in England, right?
Yes, there is one in England, so. I haven't seen that one for myself, but I have been in touch with the town council that, and they sent me a picture of that.
So that's a sister city exchange. You see it so many times where like there'll be a city or town in the United States, and then they'll match up. So Pawtucket and England are matching up with that one. Is that what?
Yeah, so Pawtucket donated it to its sister city or town. I believe it's the town of Belper. And I guess a lot of the locals didn't really like it. It was actually dressed like a colonial, like a colonist, and in like colonial garb. So they were really kind of like actually offended by it. And they finally repainted it to look like the regular one, but it still has that little like colonial hat. And now it's sitting in like a shopping plaza, so that way they can keep better eye on it.
All right, we got a few seconds left. How do they follow you?
RI Spud Search on Instagram.
All right, now you know everything about Mr. Potato Head.
I'm intrigued.
I know.
We need a road trip to England or New Jersey to go get the other one.
All right,
down.
Sarah,
Thanks,
thank you
Sarah.
very much for being on the show, and thanks for watching.